live and something happened to the sound, so I had to restart. So here we are, and I was writing my audience notes. Luckily, I had someone tell me that I was muted. Um, and I was in the middle of showing everybody how I can trace over a photograph in infinite zoom. So if I go to my layers here, I can show you that black line drawing is actually an image. Hold on. Right there, it's an image in the line, on the line layer, and I can delete it if I want to right here, or I can move it. So I'm going to go up here to my line layer, and I'm going to continue drawing on my infinite zoom. So hopefully, if you were with me before, you were able to see that this was an infinite zoom. If you weren't, I'm just going to show you really quick the infinite zoom I'm working on, and where I've imported a little bit of photograph here and there. So this is Twas the Night Before Christmas poem that I am going to illustrate, turn into a video, and share before Christmas. So I have a drawing deadline. I need to have this done before the 23rd of December. I still have a few images to go. I think I'm going to do it though. I really spent a lot of time doing all these portraits of the 8 reindeer. That was time consuming. The other time consuming thing is when I draw the entire sleigh with all of the reindeer. I have had to do that a couple times already. So I'll just show you here where I've done that. So here we go. Here is the one that's took me a long time. The other one was in here further. I think I zoomed right past it without mentioning it. It should be right in here. Oh, it's after, sorry, I don't want to go all the way in there. So I'm going to keep going out to the beginning, and then I'll show it to you. So I'm getting close to the beginning, but there is the poem at the beginning that talks about everybody nestling themselves into bed and sugar plums and all of that. And it starts out with a mouse in the very first couple lines of the poem. So here we are out to the beginning of the poem, which is the neighborhood. And the neighborhood is really going to be set in a starry sky that I will. Okay. Hi, Jace. So if you can hear me, James, hi. I hope I'm not muted anymore. I think I know what happened. Hi, Frank. Oh, I can. So I think you're going to say, I can hear you. So that's great. Thanks for joining again. Sorry for the technical glitch. I use voice to text a lot. Okay, yes, you can hear me. I use voice to text a lot on my phone. And when I was writing, I was putting a question in here because I have the option to add questions and polls to my live stream. And so I was doing that, and I hit the voice to text by accident when I was doing that because I wanted it to go quicker. Well, that's a mistake. When you hit voice to text when you're live, it completely messes up all of your audio and you can't get your audio back. It's the second time I've done it on a live. The first time I didn't know what I did. But today I knew exactly what happened, and so I just said, forget it. We haven't gotten that far into the live. Let's just start over. So here I am starting over, and I'm going to zoom into where I'm drawing in a moment. Yeah, here's the first sleigh. Each of those little reindeer just have so much detail on them that it takes me a while. And there's no copy and pasting in here. I mean, I guess I could I could import a photograph of one and then trace it over and over again, but I wanted them each to be slightly different, which they are. Their heads are different, where their legs are placed is different. Their horns are very similar, but there's a little bit of difference in size between them. Some of their eyes are a little bit bigger than the others. So I like to really make it. I take you have to embrace the program you're working in, and this program doesn't have a lot of copy and paste and cut, paste, move, all of that. It just doesn't have much of that. So you have to go with what you've got going on. And now I have to remember where I went in on the Santa. I went in on his little puffball. So on each of these, I went into their eyes, which makes it a little bit easier. I always know, go to the eye and you will be able to zoom in. Go to the eye. I am doing well, and that was a y'all that James Johnson is sharing. So anyone else watching, let James know how you're doing. You're doing good, Jace. Thank you for commenting. All the little comments and the thumbs up and the hanging around, it helps the algorithm understand that people actually enjoy getting together and watching somebody draw and having a little conversation. So we'll keep going in here and get to where I am drawing. Here's the other one. I have to work on these two today because this drawing is almost finished. And so I have to color in the rest of the reindeer, and I might just take a moment and do that right now. Because it's kind of an easy task to do. Whoops, get on the right layer, Maggie. So let's see, what layer did I put the hooves on? I would like to be on a layer below the hooves. Those are the hooves right there. That's the eye, the nose, and the two hooves. So I'll go on this layer here. That way I don't have to redraw a bunch of stuff. You love National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I know I've seen it. It's been a while. I've been looking for good videos, Christmas videos to watch, Christmas movies. There's always kind of the old favorites, the old ones, which are Christmas Carol. It's like 74 years old. It's so old, that film is. And then there's the one with James Stewart, and there's an angel in it. I forgot the name of that one. That one's pretty old too. That's probably, gosh, that might even be older. Let's see. Yeah, it's at least it's similar. It's 70 some or 80 some years. I don't know. That was probably done in the 40s or 50s. So it's probably at least 75 years old. And then, but then there's a ton of other movies out there. So, oh, we gotta really color in the eyes and everything on this guy. So let me go up here. Oh, we'll stay here. I'm gonna go to white. Yeah, I'm going to put a poll up here so that anybody who comes on here, and I'm not going to hit the voice to text again, not doing it. Start a Q&A. What is your favorite Christmas film or show? Because there might be something that's different than done. Okay, so I have pinned that question. You should be able to see it up there now. I'm going to put national land. I'm actually going to make a little list here. And then maybe, because what happens with these lives is that people make a bunch of comments and then I can't get back to the comments. Sometimes they appear, like if people say hi, it's like it's hit or miss whether they appear in my comments, so that after the whole thing is over, and I publish the live, the comments that we all make in the chat here, they seem to disappear. You can see them if you watch the whole live, but they're not in like a chat the way they are on video YouTubes. YouTube long form videos. I'm sorry, said that totally backwards. Where a YouTube live is a different animal than a YouTube long form video, and the way they handle chat is very different. And so I think what I'll do is, in the description, after I get done here, when people put up a name of a movie, I'm going to actually make a note of it here on a notepad, the old fashioned way with a pen and pencil. And then I'm going to change my description, and I'm going to add a list of movies that people put in the answers in my comments here. National Lampoon, Christmas Vacation. And then I'll put the two in that I love, and then we'll see if anybody else answers with others. So it's back to drawing. So those black eyes right there, to think about, how do I want those black eyes to actually look? Let me go up here. And usually what I do with the reindeer eyes in the portraits, I had the eyes black and brown. I don't know if it's that important in these little ones. Ooh, I have a different layer going on there. Interesting. Something weird is happening right there. Oh, it's going through to the background. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what's going on with these layers. So I'm going to go here. I love the Muppet Christmas Carol and Frosty the Snowman. Yeah, those are good. Oh, this is weird. Huh, why is that so funny there? Let me get the black out here and go up here. Use a medium pen. So the question for anybody joining is, what is your favorite Christmas film or show? Okay, that one looks good to me. I'm basically gonna do cleanup on these as I go too. So I have to find the layer where the lines are, and it needs some patching right there. Okay. That one, we will finish coloring now. That's the color I want. I want a nice fat marker. Man, I had a busy week at work. I do not do YouTube full time. I actually don't do traditional art full time either. I manage a design department, so I'm in the world of design. happily, very happily, but it's completely different than this kind of design, this kind of drawing. This is my fun time drawing. I come on YouTube to share my fun time drawing, but work was quite busy and, you know, I don't know, challenging. Life is challenging, I guess. It's always challenging. It's if you're bored, that's challenging. You know, when someone's mad at you at work, that's way different. That's challenging. I haven't had anybody mad at me at work in a while. Thank goodness. Let me fix this. I mean, and I'm the kind of person that you could get mad at. I'm very outspoken at work. I am, which is good and bad. It's helped me become a leader because I've got pretty good sense otherwise. So I'm like a benevolent type. And so it's helped me that way. I speak out and people like what I have to say. So that's all good stuff, right? But the bad part is that sometimes I probably say things I shouldn't say. Not that the thing I'm saying is bad, like inappropriate or anything, but it's how I say it. I am not very tactful. I don't know if you've ever been around somebody like that, but I can just blurt things out, and it's not a great thing always to be bold. It has its downside. So it's something I'm always working on. I am off until January 15th. I know I say it in your live stream. I'm a welder. Yes, I actually, James, I remembered you. I think do you have several kids? Am I remembering right? You have you have a partner, you're married, you have several kids, if I remember right. And sometimes you work remote from the family, don't you? I don't know. I sometimes can mix people up because like we just barely know each other and we only know each other by a handle on a screen. 5. Yep. Okay. I have you pictured now in my head. Kind of like that shadow there. I'm going to leave that shadow. Use a little bit bigger pen here. And erase that little black there. Okay. So those details look good. Just doing a little cleanup. It's such a funny pose, but I thought many times about changing it, the way his legs go into his body, but it just sort of works, even though it's probably anatomically impossible. I'm just like I'm leaving it. I'm not changing it. Uh-oh, wrong color. This is the color I want right there. Okay, right color. So James, do you watch with your kids? Do your kids hang out with you while you're watching live YouTube drawing? Just curious. Thanks everybody else for joining me. Isn't it cool how it's sort of like when you fill in the colors underneath all of this line work, all of a sudden the image just becomes way clearer? It's so satisfying. I mean, I have to wrangle my brain around it as I'm doing all the line drawing. You know, this is in front of that, that's behind that. I kind of don't like my brother now sometimes. James. So, James, are you the parent with the phone or are you the kid with the parent's phone? That, I mean, maybe you're talking about your brother. I get it. It doesn't answer my question earlier, which is, do the kids watch with you? A welder with 5 children. So we had a fun event last night at our work. It was a bunch of people came to ask questions about how to create a worker-owned cooperative. So my company, which is A1 Design Build, I co-own with 13 other people. We are a worker-owned cooperative, and it's a sub-T corporation in Washington State. And I think it's very similar corporate structures all across the states. And I don't know if they're all sub-Ts, but there's different kinds of worker ownership. There's ESOPs. There's just different kinds of co-ops where ownership is shared. But worker owned is a really great form for any size company, honestly. And the whole ethos behind it is you get one vote, one share for each person, and you have to work in order to get that share and that vote. So we don't have any board members who are stockholders or something like that. It's not allowed. The only people that run our company, that make money from our company, are the people in the company who are working every single day. So it's an awesome corporate structure, and you can't change that. Now, that doesn't mean we can't hire subcontractors. We certainly can hire subcontractors to do, like, we build houses and things like that, remodel houses. So we can hire subcontractors to do that work, but they're not part of the company. They're just part of the operations of the company. And so everybody who's in the company is on the board. If you're a co-owner, you have to work there for 3 years, and you have to buy in to be a co-owner or what we call a member of the co-op. And then you get to share in the profits. And the way that we figure out how much you get of the profits at the end of the year is based on how many hours you've worked. Okay, I don't, James, the parent. You are the parent. And you kind of don't like my brother now sometimes. Well, we don't get to choose our families. So I have 7 brothers, and there are certain of my 7 brothers that I actually love all my brothers, so I'm not, but do you like your brothers? That's different than saying, do you love your brother? Because a lot of times we all love our brothers and sisters, but sometimes we don't like them. And I would say I've probably experienced that with my brothers from time to time. So that's understandable. And they're grown-ups, so you can't really tell them what to do if you don't like what they're doing or saying. Thanks for stopping by, folks. I see we've got a couple more viewers on here. Oh, forgot to fill in those hooves. I'll have to do that. It's not a problem. In a moment, I will show you this whole infinite zoom. I like to pause, and it gives me a moment to take a break. I just want to clean up. I want to clean up around, oh my goodness, give me the eraser, please. Around this hoof here. And get the right hoof color in there. So I'm just going to do a little eyedropper here to grab that color. And then I'm going to go out in a minute here, and we're going to look at the entire infinite zoom. And I think what I'm going to do is start from the beginning. I'll show you the bookmarks. We'll start from the beginning and we'll zoom in. Just clean up a little bit here and here. Okay, so on this one, I only have one reindeer left to draw. So what I'm going to do is go out to the very beginning. I have all these bookmarks throughout the drawing. In case I get lost, I can always find the pieces that I've drawn, as long as I don't draw over them by accident, because this drawing is inside of that drawing, is inside of that drawing, is inside of that drawing, and on and on and on and on and on. And the mouse is inside of the house. Well, if I accidentally went over the top of the mouse, I would wipe out all of those drawings. Isn't that incredible? Like, that fact, for me to live with that as an artist is like, you got to get comfortable with that if you use this program. So let's go out to the house. And the house is here. And when I zoom in, I will find the mouse right here. That was the second one on my list. If I wipe out the mouse drawing, like the whole drawing, I'm going to wipe out that right there. And that is going to wipe out that right there. So you see how once you start down this path, you have to commit yourself to understanding where you left off and where your drawings are. Luckily, they give you this wonderful way of bookmarking everything, so if you ever get lost, you don't accidentally erase something you shouldn't erase. So, as the poem goes, 'twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas, I have to remember that I had stones at the bottom here. In hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there, the children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had settled our brains for a long winter's nap. Don't they look cozy? I kind of like that. Let's see here. What he did, he says, you all prefer redhead. I was drunk. He was drunk and got in a fist fight. Not good. Not good. You should not get in a fist fight with your brother if you can possibly help it. You could end up with bruises. I hope that you're both okay now, and I hope time will heal that wound. So as we go into the infinite zoom, the moonlight cast on the snow below and gave daylight luster to objects below, something like that. And then there was a miniature sleigh with 8 tiny reindeer. This is the first time I drew all of the reindeer with the sleigh. And the driver was lively and quick, and he called them all by name. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Andonner, and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. And we go on from there, but I'm going to go in here and finish my coloring of this. So that one's done. I've just got one left to do. Yahoo. Ugh, I need a small little pencil right there. I need to probably go and fix this eye. It's really messy. Let me fix it with the eraser. Okay, eyes feel almost fixed. Let's just add a little bit of white here. Oops. Go right there. There we go. So I was telling you about the worker-owned cooperative. So last night we gave a, I didn't, I was not part of the talk, but I was in the audience. One of my co-worker owners gave a talk with the local worker-owned cooperative. It's like the state, Washington State worker-owned cooperative hub, nonprofit hub organization. And basically their whole job is to help people who want to change their company into a worker-owned cooperative do that. And part of what they did was they made a little film last night, so we were all in this film. I was just the audience member, but the people up there talking were in the film, and they did a great job of talking. And I had a lot of snacks. It was fun. So that film will be up probably in a few weeks on the WASIO website, Washington, WASIO, W-A, Association for Employee Cooperative Ownership, maybe? I'm not sure. Something like that. WASIO is there an acronym. Uh-oh, that was a mistake. Let's try that again. Going outside the lines. Sometimes I don't worry about it. Okay, so then I believe that these can all be colored in. This is where we dive in. We don't dive into the toys. We dive into a snowflake that's full of leaves in here, or a star that's full of leaves. So I can actually color in these toys. So I think what I want to do is first do a background color of a nice dark gray. What layer did I go on? I think I want to go on a lower layer. I want to go down here. And I actually drew a few of these already. I remember that this hair was actually kind of a orangey hair. It's a doll, but this view is from the top. And then oopsie. I am going to go up a layer now so that I can erase if I go outside of the lines and I don't want to be outside of the lines, I can erase it. That's too purple. I think I want to, or too pink. I want that actually to be way more purple. And you remember I have two little brothers. Two little brother, one fallen in line of duty in the army, and the youngest brother is the landscaping business. Oh, yeah. Yes, I do remember that. So the landscaping business, you got it, you duked it out with him. Hmm. I had some colors that I don't know why I get caught up in sort of the details sometimes. So if I go right out here, no, it's not there. I have to go to my bookmarks. And I want to go to, say, C slanted sleigh. Okay, the skis are green, the skateboard is orange, and then she has a green dots. Green, orange, green dots. Green, orange, green dots. Okay. The fight was on Thanksgiving Day. Well, what are you going to do about it? Have you figured out what you're going to do? Are you going to like skip seeing him over holidays in the future? Like Christmas? Are you going to skip it? Or are you going to make up with him? I think that's the day I got the idea to do this. I think it was Thanksgiving night or Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. I got the idea, Black Friday, to do Twas the Night Before Christmas in my infinite zoom style. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be a lot of drawings. And I was right. It is a lot of drawings. And then go down here and we'll do the dots. I don't like how I did the dots on the first one. They're too big. So I might go back and change that. I'll probably the last couple days before I turn this into a video, I will probably just go and polish all the drawings. So now my wife said no more alcohol at family events. That's actually, I agree with your wife. I agree with your wife. Tell her I said that. I agree with her. Because it's about family, it's about sharing. Also, don't talk politics. Don't talk religion. If somebody's super religious and others are not, that can lead to trouble. So, what do you talk about? I don't know, you talk about the kids' accomplishments, you talk about work, you talk about, I don't know, there's a lot of things to talk about. You just talk about positive things. Okay, now that there's an erroneous green dot there that I have to get rid of. There it is, and it's on top of my white dot, so we gotta go there. Yeah. I hope I didn't lose a subscriber because of making that comment. Because I know having a glass of wine or a beer or whatever is fun, but were you guys slinging more than just a beer here and there? Like a beer here and there usually doesn't lead to throwing fists, but like whiskey, you know, a few, you know, half a bottle of whiskey or gin or something, hard alcohol, that's a different story. Okay, I see what I have to do. I see what I have to do here. There we go. We'll make a little fire engine here. I might take a nap today. I went out to the barn this morning and took care of the horse. I didn't really do much exercise. I was going to go for a walk, but I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. I think it's because it was just a super busy week, like crazy busy week. It's a good problem to have when you have so much work that you're busy. Because think about what the opposite problem is. Not having enough work. And in the industry I am in, that's a problem if you don't have enough work. Some industries never run out of work. For instance, medical people, legal people. Oh, excuse me. The app name, hi, Pebble guy. The app name is Zoom Art. I'll show you here in a second. The icon looks like, I'm going to zoom in, because sometimes they've changed their name and sometimes it's hard to find. It's this icon right here, and it's actually showing as white. There, that's the icon. It's pink background, kind of a salmony pink background. And it's called, they used to be called Endless Canvas or something like that. And they changed their name, probably because there's another Endless Canvas out there, to Infinite Zoom Art or Zoom Art. Zoom Art is what they're called now. And the app is a paid app, and it costs about $4.95 a month. I would recommend, like, if you want to do one drawing, or you want to make, you know, you don't want to pay that fee, you just want to do one drawing, is make a recording of your drawing so that you don't lose it. You can also export snapshots. I'll show you really quick because it's, I like to give little tutorials in here so people understand how to use the app if they want to go and do their own thing. Like, it would be awesome to make a Christmas card for somebody, and instead of handing them a piece of paper, you just pull out your phone and show it to them, or send them a video on email or something like that. So the way that you do it is, for instance, let's say I drew this and I want to preserve it. I would export as an image and save it, and I can, 916, or I can change how it's framed. Export that as a JPEG, a PNG, or a PDF, and save the image. Or I can record a video, and there's a little red dot that's appearing up here in the corner. Record screen. It's basically just recording my screen as I go through here. And we'll just stop there. And recording saved, it's in my gallery, done. And then if I go to my photographs, oopsie, the latest photograph is a 16-second video of my infinite zoom drawing that I just showed you I recorded. So the reason that I showed you, like, how do you preserve your images, and if you unsubscribe, there's always a risk that you might lose your images, and so that's how you would preserve your images, is through video and JPEG form. But as far as preserving the drawing that's here, I don't think you would be able to do that. I want to go to the last painted, but I don't know for sure. I maybe should call. I should probably talk to them, because I'm talking about their app all the time. Oh, app name. My wife heard you say you agreed with her about alcohol. Well, I had to ban it with a relative one time from my house, because it just got out of hand, and it made me like so uncomfortable to be in my own house, that I just said, if you want to come to my house, no alcohol, because it's not fun to have you here. I don't think I elaborated that much, but it just like made me uncomfortable, so uncomfortable. And I mean, I like to have a glass of wine. I'm not a prude about alcohol. I know some people can't. My dad couldn't. He had a problem with it. And I dated a fella that had an allergy to it. A couple of fellows actually had an allergy to it. And at least that's what they told me. And there is an allergic reaction to alcohol. There's people, sometimes it's almost like they break out in a rash on their skin, and then the next day it's like they've drank, they could have 2 beers and it'll feel like they drank 20 beers. They have like an excessive hangover. So I know that. And then other people lose their memory really easy when they drink alcohol. That almost feels like and it's maybe they have not been like overdrinkers, but they have that reaction. They lose their memory. I know another person that happens to, and it's really dangerous because you don't know what you're doing after the fact. So it's a really dangerous drug, and it's very normalized. I mean, as I said, I drink wine and occasionally, and a lot of people I know do. So back to the drawing, but there's lots of trouble with it. And I actually like to go long periods without drinking any alcohol. I don't have any in the house now, because over Thanksgiving I had a bottle of wine here. The month before that, I had a bottle of wine when I was house sitting, and I had them all by myself. So, that was that was a lot of wine over the course of a couple weeks. And so I decided, I don't want to do that. It's a lot of calories. I don't sleep well when I drink. So even year, I keep saying to youngest, is it, I think you mean every year, I keep saying to youngest brother, saying to him, hey, Santa, little helper, because he is 5'2". Yeah. That's a small dude. Was he a wrestler? Sometimes small dudes are really good wrestlers or dancers. They can be really good dancers. Let's see, what am I doing? I'm going to my top layer here and I'm pulling out the gold right there. And I'm just tracing, actually. This was a pretty symmetrical drawing that I did in a different program of this Santa character, and I wanted to bring it in here and just trace it because it makes it a lot faster. I sort of feel like I need to use a thicker, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to use a thicker pen. There, that feels better. So here you see, I mean, I have an art degree and you see me tracing. It's okay to trace. It's a quick way to get a drawing down on paper or on digital. If you're drawing all the time and you're like, oh, but that's cheating. Well, when you're drawing all the time, it's not cheating. It's called a time saver. And I drew the original one, so I'm not copying someone else's drawing. But if you are new to drawing and you don't really know how to draw well, copying and tracing other people's drawings, as long as you don't share them and make money on it or fame on it, is a really great way to learn how to draw. There is nothing wrong with it. So we were assigned to, in college, I remember being assigned to copy in my beginning painting class. Or maybe it was in high school. They said, find a master artist from the past, an expert artist from the past, and copy them, copy one of their paintings. And I did that. There was a painting by Lautrec of a horse, and it was kind of in the rain. I loved it, and so that's what I did. I think my wife has ADHD. Well, I know my daughter does. I know my ex-husband did. It is part of, and I'm undiagnosed. I think I do too. It is part of, it's the downside of a very creative mind. I have a friend who was diagnosed and they had been on a few different medications, and then all of a sudden they tried this one medication lately their doctor prescribed, and like the change in this person is really noticeable. Like they're calm, they're focused, they're losing weight. I mean, it's amazing what's going on with this person, and they're attributing, not all of it to this new medicine, but a lot of it to the new medicine that they're on, which is pretty cool. Oops, a little bit of a... Yeah, my daughter is always pointing to, because she's been diagnosed, so she's been through all the testing. And it makes a lot of sense now that I have heard this. I mean, I had her tested when she was a kid, but not exactly for that. She was having trouble with reading, and so I had her tested, and they said that she was highly dyslexic, but they didn't say anything about ADHD. So as an adult, and she's now a teacher, so it's not like she wasn't able to function. She could function just fine. Um, she could function fine, I should say, not just fine, because she was doing a lot of masking and making up for the fact that she had this going on. It's hard sometimes when you have stuff like that going on in the background, especially if you don't know why you're behaving the way you are, or why you're having a hard time concentrating. Or my thing is that I hyper focus. I remember my ex-husband, which is sort of interesting to say he's my ex-husband, because one of his big problems was that he's like, you don't listen to me. And I'm like, I don't hear you. I literally do not hear you. Well, when you're working on artwork, or you're doing something like at the computer, you just ignore me. That's why you don't hear me. And I'm like, no, I'm not ignoring you. I literally don't hear you. Because I get so hyper focused on what I'm doing. And it's been a problem with my job. I will be late for meetings because I actually now have to set alarms for myself. If I have a meeting, I will set an alarm. Like, I'll be at my desk, and the meeting will be in the next office, and it'll be an hour away. You'd think I could make it, right? But I would be late for the meeting because I'll say, oh, I'm going to go over here and work on my email, or I'm going to go over here and work on this project. And I throw myself into whatever task I'm doing the hour before the meeting, and get so lost in it that I lose complete track of time. I don't hear anybody, nothing. And so the idea that I had to go meeting is out of my head. I am focused on something else, and I would be for meetings. So now I set alarms for myself when I know I'm going to put myself in that situation where I'm going to be working on something I could get super focused on. I will literally set an appointment or a timer on my phone so I don't miss my meeting. So here under line, I have a little tab, and there's that image there. I want to delete that image. Boom. Now it's just this drawing that I did, which looks so perfect and symmetrical, which is hard to do in infinite zoom because you don't have any of the tools that help you with symmetry. So you see how I just did that. I drew it in a different program, imported it in. Thank you for all the thumbs up, and thank you for coming by with all the comments. I haven't seen anybody else comment on what their favorite Christmas film or show is. So this drawing is going to be followed by a drawing of let's see, I think I'll put the guy talking about laughing in here, and he's going to be, I want to look at this drawing through up the sash, because this has really got the guy's character of his face right there. And so what I can do is I can export this as an image. Okay, export JPEG, and I'll just save it to my images. And then I can go to the last place that I drew, which I'm going to go here to last painted. Oh, it thinks this was the last painted. Okay, that's fine. Let me go to fur head to foot. I have to fill in that drawing. And then this one is going to be his head like a wreath. I think, did I name that one already? Fur head to foot. So let's add another bookmark here. Unfortunately, in this version, the app, whoops, you can't create more than 20 custom bookmarks. Oh, wow. Oh, I've never gotten to the max before. Okay. So what I could do is delete some of these. I don't think I need to have every single. Delete bookmark. Do you want to delete Cupid? Delete. Okay, so I deleted Cupid, and now let me see if I can add one. And this one, yep, I can. So I just have to keep to the 20. Let's rename this one as smoke. It's the smoke one. Rename, where he's got smoke going around his head, like a wreath. And then we went in here, and we're going to have jolly elf. This one's going to be a jolly elf. And I want to actually draw a quick line for that. So he's going to have like a fur thing there. He has a belt. This is all just roughing in. And then I think I want to have his hands. He's got mittens on. So I think I want his mittens kind of right here on his belly, kind of showing I have a belly. My wife has an armchair in every of her favorite spots in the house. So does she have an armchair in multiple spots in the house, or just she has one armchair in her favorite spot? I'm confused. How many armchairs does your wife have that are her favorite spots? So this is going to have to go like that. Like that. So I'm roughing, this is me roughing out my drawing. Here we go. And then that's going to have to go like that. Yep. Yep. That is a poor drawing of a boot. Do I want the boots facing straight forward? I think I do. So I'll clean up all those lines later. Okay, I think that three, oh, okay, so she's got 3 spots in the house with armchairs. Well, good for her. Good, I love it. I was thinking, I only have a couch. Like I live in 600, I'll give a tour sometime. My kitchen isn't tidy and I have not made the bed, so I'm not going to give you a tour today, but I have a condo. It's very small. And I have like certain places I sit. I sit at my desk chair, which I'm sitting at right now. But it's not cozy. And I've thought about getting a different kind of a chair. It's just it's an ergonomically correct stool that helps you use your muscles when you're sitting. But you just not something you want to just sort of settle into like an easy chair. Then I have a couch, which I need to replace because it's in perfect condition on the outside. It's a brown leather couch. It is perfect. Except I have had it so long that where I like to sit is now like sunken down a bit. And so what I need to do is really refill it, which is going to be a huge deal for somebody to do. So I think this is, excuse me. Oh my goodness, excuse me. This is bringing my drawing day to an end. And I will come back on here probably tomorrow, probably pretty often until I get this drawing done, because it's a Christmas adventure for me to get this drawing done. But I need a little break, so I'm going to take off. And I want to thank everybody for coming by, and I will see you either later today or tomorrow when I get refreshed and ready to draw again. I'm going to go move my body. Maybe take a walk around the block. One in the hall near a window spot is in the living room. Third spot is the master bedroom. Yeah, good for her. I love it. I love it. I like your wife. All right. Thank you so much. It was so fun to chat with you, James. Thanks for being my good friend chatting on here. And tell your wife I said hi. Thank you, everyone else, for stopping by. I really appreciate the thumbs up. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do so it'll notify you if you're on YouTube and I go live. And we are to the beginning of my drawing, and I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks, everybody.